What up, world? You on the mic with Mike, Mr. Mike. And this is Keep That Chair Spinning. Let's get it. All right, good people. Welcome back. As I said, this is Keep That Chair Spinning. I'm your man, Mr. Mike. And once again, what you have is simply a podcast that is geared to some of the barbers that are fresh in the industry, maybe fresh out of barber school, or maybe some that are even in barber school at this time and getting ready to graduate, getting ready to take that practical and trying to just get ahead of the game, trying to figure out what steps they can take and trying to build themselves up as they get ready to make that jump into a barbershop. Or maybe even it's a barber that's been in the game for a couple of years already and they just end up finding themselves stagnant. It does happen. You do find yourself just kind of at a crossroads and you're kind of unsure of what steps you need to take. So hopefully this podcast here can help a couple of you fellow barbers out there just figure out where to tighten up some loose ends and maybe get back on the grind and kind of stop overthinking, as I should say, a couple moves and get yourself going. Today we want to cover boundaries, okay? Boundaries it's a good one because you want to, within boundaries you find your peace, okay? So within your boundaries you want to make sure that your customers have a gap on how they can contact you. I am a little old school, still traditional, even with the modern connection. I do use the booking link, but I also still use a lot of my customers' contact information. I do that only for the simple fact that I know how my scheduling works. I know how I cut. I know if I need to, I can speed up a little bit to make things work and get people in and out where they need to be at a certain time. So I do use both factors, but for those that don't have a booking link and solely use text or call, and even if you do use both of them, one of the main things is you want to make sure that you keep boundaries within your customer. You want to make sure that your customer is not texting you at 10:30 at night because little Timmy needs a haircut tomorrow, we forgot to book it, he's going out of town, whatever the case may be. You don't want to be worried about little Timmy at 10:30. For me, I take pride in getting off. When I get off, normally I'm running out of the shop about 6:15. When I get home around 7, I want to be cut off from the barbershop. I don't want to be known as Mr. Mike the Barber. I want to be known as a husband. I want to be known as daddy to my kids. So for me, when I get home, I don't want to worry about little Timmy. Little Timmy's mom or dad could have got in touch with me from 9 to 6. So 10:30 at night, you did wrong. So what I try to do within that is I use the smartphone for what it is. I use my Do Not Disturb. My Do Not Disturb kicks in at 7 o'clock p.m. and does not open back up until 8 o'clock a.m. I don't care if little Danny needs a haircut, he going out to his bar mitzvah or whatever the case may be. Little Danny, you should have took care of your business in between my business hours. I've said it before, I can be a little Tom Pettyish. I have woken up to a text from 11 p.m. at night. I'm the one that I get up at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. because I try to cleanse mind, body, and soul. So I get up and I read. I'll get up and I work out before I even think about getting up to the barbershop because I try to find my peace within. So I've woken up to an 11 o'clock text and I text you right back at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. I mean, you disturb my time, I'm going to disturb your time. But, that's just me. I've been trying to do better. I promise I have. But, you want to make sure that you find them boundaries and you need to let them know, hey, once I leave, I'm done. I'm off the clock. Look, I feel for you. I understand that you need to get a haircut, but it can wait until the morning. Don't call. Don't disturb me and my family's time. Date nights is another thing that me and the wife, we try to make sure that we're doing. So sometimes I do get out of the shop a little early and, we go try to enjoy ourselves. So even if it is inside that 6 o'clock time frame, I still try to make sure that I hit that do not disturb, because I don't want to interrupt that time that I have with my spouse, because that time is precious, and I want to make sure that I can enjoy that with her and not be boggled down by trying to squeeze somebody in because they waited until the last minute to get in. Um, Kind of the same thing as far as setting your boundaries with those that are always late, those that have a repetition of not showing from time to time. Um, you want to make sure that you nip that in the bud fairly quickly, uh, because, as I've said before, people will only treat you how you allow them to treat you. So if they're late once or twice and you're like, ah, man, that's all right, no biggie, man, you're good. Hey, you're good, I got you. They're gonna be late for another 5, 6, 7 times. Like, don't make it a, an occurrence. Don't let them be an habitual late person. Nip that in the bud, especially if you got somebody that's right after that. One thing I've come to know over the years is, if you're 10, 15 minutes late, or if your customer is 10, 15 minutes late, you're gonna be 10, 15 minutes late for every single customer from there on out for the rest of the day. Unless you skip lunch, decide to push somebody back, or whatever the case may be, you're gonna end up being 10, 15 minutes late if that customer was 10, 15 minutes late for you. And again, now they're disturbing your peace within your lunch. Your lunch is your time for you to get off your feet, get out of that managerial mode, because if you don't know it, even if you're not a shop owner, you are a manager. You are sitting there and you're scheduling all your appointments. You're trying to make sure that everybody can get in at a good time, and so that you can get out of the shop at a good time. Kids' ball games, whatever the case may be, like, you want to punch out at a good time so that you can go be there for your family. So you're a manager. So take pride in sitting down and taking your lunch, and don't let a customer take that time away from you. Again, don't let them be an habitual person that is always late. You want to make sure that you can nip that in the bud and let them know, hey, you were late the past 2 times. Like, is this time not going to work for you? If it's not, then we do need to change it. We need to do something differently, because I can't continue to allow you to be late. Talk to them. Be straight up with them. You're cutting into my next time. You're cutting into my lunch time. Like, I tried to schedule you around my lunch, so thinking that you were going to be on time. You told me that all we have is our word, right? So you told me that this 2 o'clock time was going to be good for you, so I set it up. But I'm trying to take my lunch at 2:45. If you're going to be 10, 15 minutes late every time, now I'm having to cut my lunch short 10, 15 minutes time, because I have to hurry up and get to my 4 o'clock or whatever the time is. And that's another thing. Like, you got to be mindful for that customer always being late with you. Again, it trickles into the next one. So if you have a 2 o'clock with that person that's always late, and your next one is at 3, if your 3 is always on time, always 10 minutes early, always 15 minutes early, but you went and for the 3, 4 times this person has been late, and now you're rolling into your next customer's time, as I said, now your customer is starting to look at you. No matter how many times you say, sorry for my tardiness, it wasn't me, it was my customer before me, they don't care, because how they feel is you're not taking care of your business. You're not you're not checking that person and letting them know that you have a customer who is on time, and they're gonna look at you funny. Next thing you know, they're gonna say, hey, don't worry about that 3 o'clock, I'll just set something up differently. Next thing you know, next Tuesday, they'll have a 3 o'clock with the barber right beside you, because that barber is available at 3 o'clock, and they see that they don't have to worry about that barber being late, because they've noticed the past couple times at 3 o'clock, they were ready and available. So be mindful. Make sure that you keep that peace and not allow your customer to continue to be late when you have another customer that's right after you and that's always on time, because it trickles downhill, and now you're losing a customer, and you mess around and lose 2, because you lose that one that's always on time, and then you turn around and check the one that's late, and they don't like being checked, and now you've lost two. It's not good. I'd rather lose this one that's always late and keep this one that's always on time. So keep your boundaries, keep it all in check. You want to make sure that you keep your peace, because we want to keep the chair spinning. That's the name of the game. But we don't want to do it at the cost of our peace. We don't want to do it at the cost of losing loyal customers because of some flaky, sometiming customers. Keep your boundaries within the no call, no shows. If they done it once or twice and it's some type of lame excuse, we've said it before on Jim's Day with Ernie, like, it's okay if it is once or twice and it's a legit excuse. But if it turns into 3 and 4 and it's every 4 weeks, it seems like I understand some as crazy even getting jail time, like that's cool. But when you get out, you can still call me or text me, be like, man, I apologize. I had something pop up, whatever, past one, whatever the case may be, but I owe you, I will pay you, I promise I'll be there next time. So don't let the no call, no shows take over your time too, because that is a time that you never know. It could have been a haircut and beard that you allotted for a whole hour when you could have possibly squeezed in 2 kids. So you don't want to end up letting these no call, no shows just take advantage of you too, because it's the same thing. You continue to tell them, oh man, it's all good, it's no worries, like, you're good, man, just come whenever you get yourself together. That's what they're gonna continue to do. Ah, man, my bad, Mike. Look, man, I sure forgot. Especially when you got the booking system, you didn't forget. Because again, what I love about it is when they log it in and they put their email and their text message in, they get an email the day before, they get a text message 2 hours before. You didn't forget. You chose to handle me, so now I'm gonna handle you. And it is okay to fire some customers. Like, that's another topic that we will get into at another time. But don't let them continue to handle you and mess off your time and make you possibly lose current customers or potential customers. Because it's the same thing if a walk-in comes in and here you are trying to eat, but you're like, oh man, I'm waiting on a customer. He should be here in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Then next thing you know, that barber does free up down the way and he's like, come on, man, I got you. And now that no call, no show happens and you miss out on a chance for a new customer, a recurring customer, whatever the case may be. So you want to keep that peace, you want to keep that boundary, and just be real with them customers. Like, let them know, man, I appreciate all you've done, but we need a better communication, or I have to let you go. You have to find yourself another barber. Another form of boundaries that is very real is when you're dealing with your coworkers. You didn't choose the barbershop for the other barbers. You came to the barbershop, you chose that barbershop for possibly the owner, how he ran things, how she ran things, the vibes that are normally in there, maybe the possible music that they listen to, maybe their booking site is something that's more influential with you, but you didn't necessarily choose it because of the barbers that are there. So you want to keep that in mind as you go about your daily operations. You need to make sure that you keep your peace within your coworkers. You don't want to end up butting heads with coworkers and now it kind of spills into your customers, or you feel like you can't talk to your customers because there's a coworker that's always in your mix, that always has something to say, that's always butting in, or just a customer that's always being disrespectful around your customers, whether it's cussing in front of a lady or cussing in front of a kid. Like, that's something that you need to pull that coworker's coattails. You need to let them know, hey, especially when I got this little kid, man, like little Timmy, don't cuss in front of him, man. Like, I'm watching his mom clench her teeth every single time when you say this, and I'm not trying to lose no customers. I'm just trying to get here. I'm trying to grind it out. Please, like, cut it out. Let me build my clientele. Let me figure this thing out. If you feel like you gotta tell them straight up, we gonna put this curtain up, you stay in your area, I'm gonna stay in my area, then you need to do that as well. As always, I try to give you a little story and let you know how relatable it is. The shop that I was at, I was there for maybe the first year, maybe year and a half, and it was this barber, man. he would always try to poke at me, and I'm a little bit on the passive aggressive side. I try to just get along, man. I just want to do my time and go home. Really not here to make too many friends nor enemies. But he would always, the owner would ask him, man, why don't you sweep up some hair, man? And he always had a little comment here and there, like, oh man, that's the rookie's job. Let the rookie do it, man. I ain't sweeping. He was a veteran, had been cutting hair for years, a lot more years than me, but whatever, I just didn't really take too much, man. I just would sweep up my area and go about my business until finally I just kind of boiled over, man, and I snapped. And I told him, I checked him right there in front of the whole shop, and I said, hey man, I don't know what it is, what you got against me, but clearly there's something on your chest. If you feeling like you really got that on your mind, man, we can take this out back right now. Thankfully, we didn't have to go there. I think he heard what he needed to hear, and he saw what he needed to see, and he shrugged me off and he went on about his business for the day. And after that, we were cool. I set my boundaries and I let him know, like, you're not gonna continue to disrespect me or just treat me as if I'm beneath you because you've been standing behind your chair just a couple more years than me. I'm not gonna go for that. So you want to make sure that you can talk with your coworker and let them know, look, this ain't for us. Let's go ahead and shut this down before we get way too far to the point of no return. I do have respect for you, but I'm not gonna let you disrespect me for my peace. So why don't you stay in your little area and I'm gonna stay in my area? Why don't you talk to your customers? I'm gonna talk to my customers. For those that may not feel like they're good with words, maybe not that good at confrontations, pull the owner to the side, man. Like, talk to him. There's a lot of times the owner has so much going on within trying to run the shop itself, from talking to the customers that are coming in, to the customers that are going out, to the phone ringing, to somebody trying to book online. Like, some of the owners, we do take on a lot, and we're not able to see everything that's going on around the shop. So maybe just pull the owner to the side when you get a chance and let them know, look, I'm really not trying to be a tattletale or anything in that manner, but for my peace, I'm not getting along with this coworker. I'm not feeling what they're putting out, and like, something needs to happen before I end up disrespecting your shop. And that's the last thing I want to do, because I do want to stay here. I want to work here, but me and this coworker, we're not seeing eye to eye. So it's okay to check a coworker, check the owner, let them know, like, me and this coworker, we're not vibing. I really don't appreciate what they got going on. Whatever. Again, if they smelling like dank, and you got nothing but little kid customers, like, that's not a good look. If they got the styrofoam cup, or you can just smell it on them, and slurred speech near your customers, man, check that. Tell them to put it together. Or, like I say, talk to the owner and say, it's not an ultimatum. It's not me or them, but like, before I take things into my own hands, I would really appreciate you pulling the other coworker to the side and talking to him. Or if it need be, you can have a sit down with all three of y'all and we can discuss things, because I would feel more comfortable talking to my coworker with somebody present. That way I don't have to haul off and slap somebody. That's a joke. I don't condone or promote violence, you know what I mean? I'm all about trying to figure out the better way, the best way to get situations solved. So boundaries, create them within your customers, create them within your coworkers. You need to stand by, as always, your morals, your values, and your beliefs. For me, there's a lot of time within the first 2 years I wish I could get back, because I didn't have my boundaries. My boundaries were little to none in the beginning. I was chasing as many haircuts as I could. I would really be there as late as the owner, if not later. I was taking text messages. This was, again, in the first 2 years. It was before the booking link. But without the booking link, I was straight paper and pen. I was taking texts all night, waking up the text, responding back to them, going back to sleep. Like, I lost a lot of sleep within them 2 years. So now we're in a better time to where we have this online booking. So make advantage of it. Take advantage of your do not disturb on whatever type of phone you have. It's a smartphone. Figure it out. Put the vibrate on, turn the volume all the way down. As soon as you walk through the door, turn that bad boy off. I don't know if you still got a house phone. I don't know who does, but just make sure that you're not worried about the barbershop. Like, they have that booking link for a reason. They can get to you through there, or they can call back to the shop, you know, when the shop opens. But set your boundaries, set your peace, put that curtain up if need be. Don't let your coworkers deter you from working at this shop, because literally you came here for a reason. You came to grind it out. Set your boundaries within your coworkers. Don't let them make you miss money from potential current customers, recurring, or potential new customers by their actions and, you know, treating you a certain type of way. So just put that wall up, be firm, let them know this is how it's going. I can't do it anymore. Or like say that coworker, this ain't for me and you. We need to shut this down before it overflows. As always, I do appreciate you guys giving your time on all platforms. Please go check it out. We're on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Google Play as well. Keep that chair spinning. I am your man, Mr. Mike. Holla.